Oil leaks, yes.
Oil leaks. This one was leaking like a pig. Most of it turned out to be the gearbox. So having solved that problem, okay, on the oil pump, first thing I did, on big twin like this, you've got two caps there, look. You've got one in there, look.
Yeah.
The second one's there. Undo those, there's springs underneath them and ball bearings. 9 times out of 10, the ball bearings have got a ridge in them. Yeah, and they just seat down on a conical shape like that.
Yeah.
So I've got my tool I made, which is a ball bearing the same size,
Yeah.
welded to a screwdriver end.
Yeah.
Get some valve grinding paste, just gently lap them in. Yes, you're taking any ridges or bores off with the concave bit where the ball bearing sits in.
Yeah.
Always, if you can, they're 3/8, aren't they, Robin?
Yeah.
3/8 ball bearings. Always, if you can, put new ball bearing in it. And you can buy all of the springs. If you can, put new springs in it.
Yeah.
Okay, because they just get worn and old, you know, the pressure comes out of them. Now on a big twin, you've got that adjuster there, and there's another adjuster there, look. They vary. Some only have one, some only have two.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Basically, one does, if it had, this has got a belt drive, yeah?
Yeah.
If it had a primary chain still in it, one mists the chain,
Yeah.
and the other one is a rear chain oiler. Now, with modern chains, the rear chain oiler, forget it, just take it out. So basically, you just screw those screws all the way in, there on a taper, stops the drip feed that would have fed or misted. Because it's got a belt in it, it doesn't need misting into the primary.
Yeah.
So that's basically on a big twin, that's it. There is no other adjustments. Okay? On a 45, again, that's your oil pump off a 45. 3 ball bearings in these, yeah? One in there, one in there, one in there. Again, seat it all down, new ball bearings if you can, new springs if you can. As this one, I think it's that side, yeah, it is that side, is adjustable.
Right.
Okay, there's a stiffer spring goes in there. That adjuster there goes inside, and you do that, you screw it down, I can't remember the dimension now. 3/8?
9/16?
9/16. Anyway, there's a distance down from the top of that to the head of the screw when it's in there. So you screw that in until it's measured exactly the right depth. And that's basically all you can do with an oil pump. There's a flapper valve in there, but they don't normally go.
Okay.
Okay, so that's that. But on the engine, you've got a screw there. Now that one does your misting into the chain case.
Yeah.
Little tiny, like, I think they're about 3-4 thou washers go under there, and you just pack them up with washers until you're just getting, it's about a drip a minute or something. Oh, no, that's the misting one, it's the rear chain that's a drip a minute. That one there, right, that is your rear chain oiler, so there'll be a tube coming out of there,
Yeah.
comes along, bolts on over the top of the gearbox, drip feeds the chain there, if it had it. With the modern chain, you don't need the rear chain oiler. Just put some what you call chain lube on it, and it's fine. So that one, screw all the way in. Take all the washers off, screw it all in until it's butted out.
Yeah.
If you're running a belt, screw that in all the way and butt it out.
Yeah.
If you're not, sort of like 1/4 hour washer underneath it, and that will just mist the chain. This doesn't drop into it, it's just literally a mist.
Yeah.
If it's leaking so much down from the tank through the oil pump that it fills up the crankcase, and it gets so high it comes out where the crank pin comes out for the primary drive. Okay, that's generally why they leak oil all the time. The longer you leave it, the more oil comes out.
Yeah.
The only way you can repair that is either getting a new oil pump, rebuilding the oil pump, or your feed line from the tank, the oil tank, comes down, feeds the oil pump. It's that pipe there when it's all together, yeah? You can cut that and put an on-off tap in it.
Oh, okay.
That's a surefire, 100% positive method of stopping it leaking.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, just put an inline oil tap on it. You can get these one-way valves. They do them a lot on British bikes that are supposed to work, but I've never got one to work properly. I mean, a physical on-off tap is a surefire way. Just don't run it with it off though. You have to put something on your speedo or something, oil tap. So every time you ride it, you know that you've done it, you know. Right, Harley Panhead that wouldn't go. Basically, the distributor was in one tooth out, so I repositioned that. So that line there is original factory timing as it was, yeah? So set everything back to that, because through the sight glass on the side with the marks on the crankshaft, there's different variations for different years. Couldn't quite work out exactly what was what, but it's all set back to factory spec now, so in theory it doesn't really matter where that timing mark is as long as you get it right. Repositioned the float in the carburettor, rebuilt the carburettor. You know, we checked the cam timing to make, because it was banging and coughing out the carburettor, just to make sure the cam timing was correct, which it was. Found out basically the main problem was this here, your inlet manifold. There's two O-rings in there. Now when I took that off, just to check it out, it was soaked in fuel everywhere on the outside. There's fuel on the outside, it's getting air in, which was making it cough and splutter. So I sealed all of that up, redone all that. Again, checked the timing again, all good. Primary chain case was leaking oil like mad everywhere. There was no gasket in it, so I made a gasket and put that in. When I took the clutch out, the clutch was assembled wrong, and the steel clutch plates, they have what they call it's an anti-chatter. There's a spring-loaded piece with a ball bearing on it that hits on the clutch outer basket. They're not in there, so it will chatter when the clutch is off. The gearbox main drive sprocket nut wasn't done up. So the way it works is you have your, what would be your fourth gear or splined, cog goes on there, do your nut up, and that draws everything that way. Because it was undone, it's gone back in and the oil seal wasn't even on the piece that it should be oil sealing. So most of the oil that was coming out of it was coming out of the gearbox.
Right.
We left it, how long did we leave it for, Robin? 2 days? 2 days, and there was 1 drop of oil underneath it with the chain case off.
Wow.
But it'd have to fill up with oil about that much for it to come out the bleed hole on the back of the inner primary. So all in all, just a multitude of little bits and pieces, which is it's just finding them, you know. It's going through it and obviously like do it in an order. Check the cam timing, took all the hydraulic lifters out, bled them back down, adjusted all the push rods up properly, and she seems pretty good now. Famous last words.
Yeah.
So we'll give her a go. Fuel on, full choke, full throttle. Give her 4 kicks. Retard the timing a bit.
What was the better compression? Because that was all over the
Yeah,
place.
that was all the push rods out. 2 clicks down on the choke. Got light. I went the wrong way with the choke. My bad. Make sure she's getting fuel. flooded it. It's my fault, and I pushed the choke the wrong way. In theory, it should go first kick. So it's running fine once it goes. Now it's my fault, I pushed the choke the wrong way. It's flooded it.
So if you do flood the engine like that,
Yeah.
how's the best way to actually rectify?
Full throttle. Choke off, full throttle, and keep kicking it and it'll clear itself and go.
Just takes a bit of time.
Yeah.
And the choke's set up the same way, or it's just you just clicked it the wrong way?
Yeah, what it is, look, with that on there, you can't see where the choke disc with the air filter on, because it's not a normal choke setup as such. Like on a WLA, it's on here,
Yeah.
and you know which way it is. So that's full choke. So what you do is you wind it over, full choke, full throttle, 3 or 4 kicks, yeah? You click it back, 2 to start it, yeah? What I've done, when it started running, I did that, thinking I was opening it, but I wasn't, I was shutting it.
Right.
So it's just, all that's doing is throwing neat fuel straight in.
Yeah.
You've got no air mixture with it, so it floods the engine.
Yeah.
So what I should have done was pushed it that way, and then it would have run.
Oops.
Oops. But there you go.
Little lesson for those who have flooded their engine.
Yes.